Hello and welcome to the Nove Money Live Conference Call Center, where we inspire people. You will now enter the conference.
I'm going to let you announce where you're calling in from as I go ahead and make sure that everything is all set and ready to go. So looks like we have our speaker live on Facebook as well. So listen, if you follow Mr. Haziq Ali online, then you want to make sure to go to his Facebook page as well so you can get this information. And at this time, please state your name and where you're dialing in from, millionaires.
Linda Graves from New York.
All right, Linda Graves from New York. Welcome to the call. Who else we got on the line?
Hey, great evening. It's Earl Fambro calling out of Charlotte.
All right, Earl from North Carolina, Queen City in the building. Welcome to the call, millionaire.
Tyrone Montgomery out of Louisville, Kentucky.
All right, we got Louisville, Kentucky in the building. Welcome to the call, millionaire.
Jerry
All right,
everybody. North Carolina.
All right, Jerry Goins from Wilmington, North Carolina. Welcome to the call, King. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get this line needed out because it looks like
Recording started.
good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Nove mentorship call. We do these calls each and every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are super excited that you are on the line tonight. So, we do these calls, and typically you'll hear from our president or CEO, Mr. Rico McCambry, or, sometimes you'll hear from our chief operating officer, Ms. Shanae McCambry. And we do these calls to help you elevate your business, give you some leadership tips, help you, enhance your relationships, your overall lifestyle, give you some personal growth and self-development, even enhance your mindset and your bank account. So you're here tonight to, hear some information. So I hope that you have a pen and pencil
Share
ready.
this training,
and if
y'all.
you're watching on Facebook Live, Mr. Haziq Ali, our speaker tonight, is also on Facebook. But listen, I am your co-host, Alicia Goins from Wilmington, North Carolina. And tonight I have the honor of not
One of the things
only
that make Nove
introducing
different is that
tonight's speaker, who's one of my mentors.
we ain't just here to talk about money. We're going to get your mind right.
About a legend from this beautiful city, Wilmington, North Carolina. So sending Laney Bucks on the line, a shout out to you. So listen, let me go ahead and get into this information so you can go ahead and hear from one of our greatest mentors, Mr. Haziq Ali. Now listen, he is known across the nation and even internationally for his servitude of leadership and ability to help. He helps individuals go further, faster, with less effort when it comes to achieving their goals. Now, this is an individual who was literally homeless and living in his car. Now, within the first year of being a CMO of our amazing company, Nove, he was able to be one of the motivating factors of why Nove is now one of the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing private companies. Now, in addition to that, his
in the world,
when he's serving through Nove, he's actually extremely in high demand and an award-winning speaker.
Hey, Jerry, share this in the messenger groups, bro.
Guest host, okay? So we have been blessed to be trained by him and personally mentored by him. And also he's been personally mentored by the great Les Brown, one of the greatest motivational speakers to ever live. So listen, I want to go ahead and get out of his way because he's going to give us some information right now that is going to take us to the next level. So without further ado, Mr. Haziq Ali, are you on the line, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, Queen?
I can hear you loud and clear. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here this evening. And I want to welcome everybody from all over the country. Thank you so much for that incredible introduction, Mrs. Goins. And thank you for everything that you do in front of and behind the scenes. I want to welcome everybody to another Sunday night mentorship call. This is all about millionaire motivation and millionaire mentorship, millionaire inspiration. But let's be honest, the millionaire is a good start, but it ain't the finish line. It's really like the starter pistol. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of mentality that I feel like we have to have. So a couple weeks ago, before I underwent this procedure, this medical procedure that maybe I'll talk about in the future, I had planned out this training that I'm about to give you because of the fact that me having a little bit of time where I had to kind of rest and recuperate and get my bearings right. I had a chance to watch this documentary on Michael Jordan. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it's called The Last Dance. Anybody seen that before? I don't know if you have or if you haven't, but it is not the kind of documentary that you just want to watch and let it wash over you. There is lesson after lesson after lesson in this thing. I hope that I encourage you to check it out tonight. It's pretty long, so I don't want you to take away from your work and work in your business and, kind of like keeping your priorities in order as we begin to end this year the way we want to start the next one. But I do want to point out for you that it is a clinic on leadership. It is a clinic on the kind of mindset that creates champions. This documentary is a clinic on greatness. It's called The Last Dance. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Michael Jordan. For any of the ladies out there that don't know, The Last Dance of the Chicago Bulls is kind of like a sort of a epoch. It's sort of like a summary of the 90s as it relates to basketball. It's a documentary that chronicles the life of one Michael James Jordan, and it narrates his story of the final season with the Chicago Bulls and where it all started. For those that don't know, Michael Jordan is considered to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He's not just some shoe designer that a lot of people think. And to me, this documentary kind of explains in a way that I'd never really gotten a chance. I mean, we've seen the commercials with like, sometimes I dream that he is me, right? And all of this, but this thing is a clinic on what greatness is about. It is amazing how many lessons were in this thing. I'm going to give you a few of them tonight. I want to challenge you to jot these lessons down and ask yourself, because I believe that everybody that can hear my voice, everybody that can see my face, everybody who resonates with my message has Michael Jordan level talent at something. It's just about you acknowledging that, cherishing it, and nourishing it. That's why we're always talking about how it's mindset. That's where you're acknowledging it. It's skill set. That's where you're nourishing it. And then it's heart set. That's where you're cherishing your gift. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something, millionaire. It's all about you acknowledging it, nourishing it, and cherishing your gift. Can somebody give me that in your notes? Acknowledge it, nourish it, and cherish it. And Michael Jordan really, really was an example of this. So I'm going to give you a few lessons that I got from him. I hope that you are ready for this. Here's the first one I got, because what I want you to do is juxtapose yourself as Michael Jordan in your life. I want you to juxtapose yourself as Michael Jordan in your business. I want you to juxtapose yourself as Michael Jordan even in some of your relationships out here. There are people that are looking up to you. You are Michael Jordan to them, or you're the closest thing to it that they can reach out to and touch. Listen to me. Take that responsibility like it's dead serious. Here's the first one I have for you. Coaching and mentorship maximizes potential. Coaching and mentorship maximizes potential. This documentary points out again and again all the people that helped Michael Jordan on his journey to greatness. I'm talking about his parents, James and Dolores Jordan. I'm talking about his college coach, Dean Smith. Dean Smith would play all kinds of games with them mentally and using personality type and his knowledge of how people's mentality works to drive greatness out of them. For those that don't know, Dean Smith is a legendary coach for a reason. Something I think is amazing is that once he knew he had Michael Jordan coming to his college, he instantly made him roommates with the guy who was ranked number one on the team. And then Michael Jordan just went straight at him. Personal trainer Tim Grover, who now has a book called Relentless. Like, I follow Tim Grover on Twitter. Tim Grover is amazing. That's his personal trainer. And then he went on to be Kobe Bryant's personal trainer as well. And then, of course, Phil Jackson. I always talk about how, it is a coach that makes all the difference. If you look at Michael Jordan, if you look at Kobe Bryant, these are some of the greatest players of all time. But ask me how many championships they won without Phil Jackson? Oh, for both of them, that would be a round figure, right? If we were to round it up or round it down, you would come up with 0. That's right. Both of them may have been the greatest players of all time, especially of their particular eras, and neither one of them was able to win a single championship without Phil Jackson. Listen to me. Without these key relationships, there's no way that Michael Jordan would have been as successful as he was. I want to challenge you here tonight. Are you really paying attention to your coaches? Are you really paying attention to your mentors? Are you trying to impress them with your work ethic? Or are you trying to divert them with your excuses? I want to challenge you tonight. I remember people like Grant Hill were talking about in different interviews after this documentary came out, how they wish they would have seen this documentary in the beginning of their careers instead of now that their careers are over. Check it out. Because what all of them realized is that they could have achieved a lot more by learning from the best in the profession, by seeking out coaches, seeking out mentors. I want you to know here, while you're listening to my voice, you can do the same thing right now. You can decide that right now is the beginning of your career. I don't care what age you are. You can decide right now, this is the beginning of your career. Here's the second one, y'all. Faith is essential. Faith is essential to greatness. There's a common pattern in life that in order to achieve anything significant, you got to first believe you can do it. What the mediocre always talk about, what the wackest in the world always talk about, what the weaklings talk about, what the worriers talk about. I ain't talking about the warriors. I said the worriers. They always say, I'm going to believe it when I see it. But let me tell you what the champions say. Let me tell you what the world class says. Let me tell you what people like Michael Jordan understand. It's that when I believe it, then I'll see it. Faith is essential, y'all. And faith comes from understanding what you're capable of doing. Faith comes from understanding who you are and whose you are. Faith comes from understanding that for the man with goals, everything helps. For the man without goals, nothing helps. Faith is you understanding what you're capable of doing and then honing your skills to achieve that excellence. Again, I want to make sure you understand. You got to acknowledge your skills. Then you got to nourish your skills. What are you doing to feed your mind? What are you doing to feed your body so you have the energy to achieve these goals? And then how are you showing your gratitude for your God-given gifts? You know, what God gives us is our gift. It's his gift to us, but what we do with it is our gift back to him. Service is the rent we pay to live on planet Earth. My namesake, another Ali, Mr. Muhammad Ali said, what I'm asking you is for you to prove how much faith you have in yourself through your activity. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that desire shows up in conversation, but belief, faith, it shows up in your behavior. There were a lot of standout moments in this documentary where Jordan did the spectacular, multiple game-winning shots in big moments. You know what kind of faith that takes? His belief was evident, though, even in the very first episode when they asked him about his prospects with the Chicago Bulls. This is what he said. He said something to this effect. This ain't a direct quote, but he said something to the effect of, I just want the franchise to be respected. I just want them to respect the Chicago Bulls the way they respect the LA Lakers, the way they respect the Philadelphia 76ers, the way they respect the Boston Celtics. Now, what I want you to understand is that Chicago sucked. It's very hard to come into something like that is at the bottom. I'm talking about the ground floor and just make a decision that because of you, it's going to be respected like some of the greatest teams of all time. Well, there's some parallels here, y'all. We at the ground floor of an opportunity that could, should, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it will change this country. I'm as surely as you can hear my voice, Nove is going to change the world. As surely as you can hear my voice. But check it out. It's going to happen a lot quicker if you that can hear me take ownership of this. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Millionaires, one of my favorite quotes from Michael Jordan is that I failed over and over and over again, and that's why I succeed. Michael Jordan started off like, listen, I want us to be respected like the Celtics, respected like the 76ers, respected like the Lakers. And then he admitted it. He said it's going to be very hard for something like that to happen, but it's not impossible. But hopefully this team and this organization can build a program like that. But he wasn't just talking it. He showed it with his actions. You dig what I'm saying? And that brings me to the third thing that I learned. One person can start a movement. One person can start a movement. One person can start a movement. As a matter of fact, that's how any movement that you can name ever did. That's how any movement you can name ever started. It always starts with one person. Prior to Michael Jordan's arrival, the Chicago Bulls were known, and I hate to say it like this, but they were known as a traveling cocaine circus. Everybody's partying. Everybody's chasing women all around, right? The team wasn't even popular with most of the Chicago citizens during that time, right? They preferred to watch the White Sox and the other teams that Chicago had. The attendance for Chicago Bulls games was about a third of the total capacity. You hear me? When Jordan got drafted in '84, the whole narrative of the Chicago Bulls team suddenly changed up because of this new energy that he brought, not just to the team, but to the whole city of Chicago. One person can start a movement. Man, game tickets started to sell out. From that season on until by the time he left there, obviously we know now, the whole world started to realize they had one of the best talents in the whole league, and now they sell out every game. Would sell out every game before the ticket, second after the tickets went on sale. Here's number 4 I got for you. It takes a team to win big. It takes a team to win big. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about Jordan. We spent a lot of time so far talking about how, one person can start a movement. But check this out. It takes a team to win big. If you can do it by yourself, you really ain't doing too much. And in spite of this shot in the arm that Jordan gave the Bulls, he couldn't win a championship by himself. Talent-wise, this dude was the best in the entire league, and pretty much everybody had a consensus about that. He would win all the individual awards, but his less talented, some would say, counterparts like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, they were winning titles. So what was the difference? It took Michael Jordan realizing that he had to start trusting his teammates. It took Michael Jordan realizing that he had to start trusting management. That if they were going to become a championship caliber team, he had to have the pride that comes with the desire to be the best, but he also had to have the humility and the trust that comes with being a team player. Y'all see that? What about you? What about you? I'm asking you to look at yourself right now. This dude, Jerry Krause, played a vital part in the whole journey because he was playing chess, man. He was moving pieces on and off the board, right? He was getting the right players, and then all of a sudden he brought in Phil Jackson. But of course, you can't forget Scottie Pippen. You can't forget Horace Grant. You can't forget John Paxson. You can't forget Bill Cartwright, who had the ugliest form in the whole league. Some of y'all remember that free throw style. You know what I mean? Y'all remember that? But check it out. That brings me to number 5. I talk about this a lot, but there's a certain level of pride that comes from you documenting your life. Number 5 that I picked up from this thing is the fact that he was documenting his life. The documentary itself is a powerful reminder and illustration that documenting your life, documenting your lessons that you learn along the way, creates your legacy. Your life story is worth recording. Some of you don't realize it, but you are the patriarch of your family. You are the matriarch for your family. You hear me? Because every Facebook video you record, every post you put up, every 280-word tweet you send out, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to get to see that. This is how life lessons are passed along. I don't know if you realize it, but there's a whole set of generations that's going to be able to learn from your positive and negative experiences if you'll just document it. This is how wisdom gets passed down from generation to generation. This is how you're able to ensure continuity with the standard of greatness. You got to start documenting your life. Oh, you'll be so proud of yourself in 20 years when you can look back on you teaching financial literacy to the world. I dare you. In the same way that you must record life events and the lessons learned from your life, this is what Jordan was doing. This documentary takes you through high school. When he was a teenager in high school, we learned about his family, his friends, his agent. Oh, and his agent got his own story because his agent was used to doing stuff in tennis and all of that. There'd never been a deal like what they pulled off when David Falk put together this ProServe company. Whole set of lessons just in that one alone. But my point is, the reason we know these lessons is because he documented his life. Here's number 6 I got for you. Let your skills do the talking. Millionaires, let your skills do the talking. Unlike a lot of the average performers, what Michael Jordan would do is the exact opposite of them. They would talk more than they did. Michael Jordan would kind of shut up. If you notice, he wasn't some big trash talker like Reggie Miller or Sam Perkins. Today it's like there's so many trash talkers in the league. It's crazy, right? Even Kobe would talk a lot more trash than Jordan. Let me tell you what Jordan would do. He would focus on developing his skills when nobody was looking. He would focus on developing his skills when nobody was looking. I was telling my story to some brothers last week, and I was telling them how and some of my homies noticed when we first started this thing of ours, they would be hitting me talking about congratulations. I didn't even know what they were talking about, but it turns out there was a leaderboard. And I was all on top of it. And no matter what anybody did, they couldn't remove me from the top spot. I didn't even know there was a leaderboard. I just knew that I was surrounded by greatness. I was surrounded by a bunch of people who were making a lot more money than me. And I was like, I'm not trying to embarrass myself. So I went inside the room, I shut the door, and I went to work. My point is, a lot of the people that were around me that were talking, I ended up dwarfing them. Not because I was competing with them, but because of the fact that I was competing with myself. Let your skills do the talking. Michael Jordan had another quote in there where he was like, and again, this ain't an exact quote, but it was something to the effect of, from the first day in practice, my mentality was, whoever is the team leader, I'm going straight at him. Whoever is the team leader, I'm going straight at him. Right? Think about that. I'm not going to do it with my voice, he would say. I'm going to do it with my skills. He was like, I couldn't do it with my voice because I had no voice. I had no status. I had to do it with the way that I play. That's episode 1 of the documentary. And all I'm sharing with you is that whatever you do in life, focus more on doing and less talking. Make more moves and make less announcements. It's the results that you produce that speak the loudest anyway. Evidence is always the loudest voice. Truth is always the judge. When all is said and done, usually more is said than done. Here's number 7 I got for you. Explore your passions. Explore your passions. Michael Jordan enjoyed all types of sports when he was a young kid. He tried them all, and he narrowed it down to basketball and baseball, which his pops loved. So during his first retirement from basketball, you know what he did? He went to play baseball for the Chicago White Sox. And here's what's crazy. Even though he played only about 18 months, he improved so much that he could have gone pro. Here's my point to you. In the same way he did it like that, I dare you. Try out all the things you're passionate about in your journey to making your business as big as it can be until you zero in on what you'll be the most successful at. Maybe right now you're just stuck in a Facebook zone. Maybe you haven't even tried TikTok. Maybe you haven't even tried Instagram. Maybe you haven't even tried Twitter. And we're just talking about social media. What I'm saying is, a lot of times you don't know what you like. You just like what you know. I dare you try it. I got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to give you a couple bonuses. Here's number 8. Practice like it's game time. Practice like it's game time. Shout out to everybody that be role playing with their team. Shout out with everybody that doesn't practice while they on the phone with a prospect. Shouts out to everybody who practices like it's game time. Because one of the things that separated the Bulls from all the other teams in the league when you watch this documentary was a dedication. For Michael Jordan and his teammates, they decided that they were going to practice harder than they even played a game. Because they figured if they did that, then once it came time to play the game, it would be in their muscle memory. The reasoning was by the time they got to the game, they would know instinctively what to do. Practicing like they were in a real game put them way ahead of their counterparts. And this is one of the most valuable lessons you can grasp from this team, man. Whatever you do in life, give it your best, right? Give it your best. Like you're doing work for your favorite client. Like you're doing work for the client that can change your whole life. Michael Jordan always talk about like how, I know fear is an obstacle for some, but it's an illusion to me. Failure always made me try harder the next time. That's that Michael Jordan mentality. Here's number 9 I got for you. Here's number 9. Winning has a price. Winning has a price. Resentment, hateration, whatever you want to call it. People feeling some kind of way about your greatness. I'm going to tell you what. It's worth it, though. It's real weird, man. Everybody hates to give support, but they love to give congratulations. But what's crazy is that a lot of times the congratulations ain't even real. A lot of times, man, what they would prefer is to slow you down because you're making them look in the mirror at what's wrong with them. Winning has a price. And when Michael Jordan said that in the documentary, it hit me hard, even though it's a simple line. Because for him, learning to trust his teammates instead of doing it all by himself, man, that took some evolving. That took some evolution. Part of the price that he had to pay, though, was being misunderstood as a person. By his standards, he wanted everybody on his team to win, which meant pushing them hard, which meant being considered a jerk, which meant being considered kind of like an A-type personality, right? Some people saw him as a tyrant because he knew that they didn't know what it took to win, right? Listen to me. The more successful you become, the more people will misunderstand you because most people are average at best. They've made a decision to be mediocre in their lives, and so they'll never understand what it takes to be great. But winning has a price, but it's a price you have to pay. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but you can ask any winner you know. It's worth it. And that leads me to the last one I got for you, y'all. I hope you're getting something out of this. I hope this is making sense to you. When it gets hard, get hype, because that's the part your competition ain't willing to do. That's the last one I got for you. When it gets hard, get hype, get happy, because that's the part that's going to make them fall off. You know what I mean? Adversity is what leads to breaking records. You hear what I'm saying to you? Jordan faced a lot of obstacles in his career. We always hear about him getting cut from his junior varsity team. But that wasn't nothing compared to what he was ending up faced with through his career. But check it out. It led to record-breaking results. His team was the first team to win 3 championships back-to-back in 27 years. You think that's going to come easy? And they did it twice in a decade. They did it twice in the 90s. He set a bunch of other records. You can Google him, if you thought Michael Jordan was just a shoe designer. But all I'm saying is that adversity has a capacity to influence that if you allow it to. Adversity creates opportunity because it's only after beating adversity that they call you a legend. So I'm going to unmute this line. And then what I want you to say is like, my name is Haziq. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to say it myself first, right? I always mess this part up, but we're going to try it. Listen, I want you to say your name. I want you to say where you're from, and then be like, I'm a legend. I'm going to start this thing off. I'm going to start this thing off so that I get it right. All right, check it out. My name is Haziq Ali. I'm reporting live from Atlanta, Jordan. Atlanta, Jordan. You see that? I got Jordan on my mind, baby. I hope you do too. Check it out. My name is Haziq Ali. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And I am a legend. You know what I'm saying? Good night, y'all. And remember, either your mind has to expand to match your goals, or your goals will just start to shrink to match your mind.